there you are.
I'm here.
We're both in the shot. This is sort of like a public service announcement. I apologize for my very white face because I was doing some drywall sanding. Yeah. This is a pro tip for all you would-be contractors, construction guys, property management, whatever you call yourself. Here's a little pro tip for you. When you're pricing jobs out and quoting jobs, there's realism versus expectation. So the realism of what the job is actually going to entail, what's going to happen in the job, and then the expectation from the customer of what they think is going to happen. So I'll give you a sort of an instance here. You walk through somewhere. This might be personal, but whatever.
May or may not.
May or may
Could
not.
be a fictional story.
It could be a fictional, most likely fictional. So you walk through somewhere, and you survey units, and these units are in bad shape, very bad shape. And one of your questions would be, obviously, what's the expectation of finish? What do you want from this? Because if you're a good contractor, most times you're going to want to make things look good, obviously, right? As good as you can, because otherwise you can't reflect on your work. But if the client says they don't care, they just kind of want it to be clean and ready to rent, you're going to run into that a lot, especially with property management and such. You've really got to kind of nail down that expectation, because what you're going to end up finding is, after the fact, you're going to get callbacks on stuff, because there's obviously judgment calls when you're doing these kinds of things. So you're going to want to explain what the full expectation of the finish is going to be, and then a good idea would be to have them show you what a finished unit is up to their standard. Of course, traffic has to stop while I'm doing this.
Stop and do traffic.
Yeah. So you're gonna ask to see that, and then you get a good reference point to what they're expecting versus what you think you're gonna do. And then, of course, when you're doing the estimate, the best way to estimate the cost of something is how much do you want to get paid for your time. And this is going to be two caveats. How much you want to get paid for your time, but you're going to also have to know how long it's going to take you roughly to do things, and then leave a variance, because of course you don't know certain things are going to take
bump
long.
into something, right? You know
Right.
what's going to happen.
Yeah, like you're going to run in, all of a sudden you're going to paint somewhere and the wall's all spongy and you have to tear out the wall and do a new wall there or something. You know what I mean? Like you're not going to know. So that's the two things I would say. So there's your tip there, as far as when you're going to, there are two parts to the tip. When you're going to quote something, find out what the expectation is clearly from the client. Number two, make sure you're valuing your time to do it. So you wouldn't go into a dealership, you wouldn't go into a Mercedes dealership and say, hey, what can I get for 10 grand? They'd laugh at you. They'd say, I don't think we can even sell you anything used for them, right? So, same conversely, if you walk into somewhere and they're expecting an excellent finish to something, but they want the price
Of not that.
exactly. They want the Mercedes for the price of the Pinto. Well, Honda Civics are good cars, so
Yeah, they're not. It's really expensive.
true. But yeah, so there's your tip today. You're gonna run into this. I'll tell you, because obviously we run into this not as often, because we do more full construction and people can see our stuff online and know what the level of our finishes are. But in this case, the jobs that we're doing right now it's rental units, quick flip in very aged buildings that could pretty much use a gun. So that's your tip of the day. Anything to add, Tyler?
No, I think you just gave them an earful.
I did. Some of that is personal, related to frustration. But these are tips for you. So if you're looking for tips, if you've searched this video and I'm telling you, those are the best things, the best tips you're going to find anywhere else.
You gotta balance that line, bridge the gap between expectation versus what's realistic.
Yeah. Because otherwise, what's going to happen to you? You're going to try and make things look great. It's going to take you a lot of extra time, and you're going to be pissed off because your time's not being valued, because you've now quoted the job too low, and you're just going to feel stuck and you're going to want to get out of the job. And worst thing you can do for your reputation is to walk away from jobs, like on your own fruition. Unless, again, there's some bad things. But
There's circumstances.
there are circumstances where it's fine. But if you get a reputation for not finishing jobs, especially after you've quoted them, sometimes you got to eat the shit sandwich. In other words, right? You underquote, you just got to finish it. So there it is. See you guys on a future video.